All right, so today we're going to look at the college budget sheet so that you can know how to use it, whether you're a scholar or whether you are an intern or just anyone helping make sure that everything is in here correctly. So when you open the college budget sheet, first of all, it should be in your CCP. If you look under the Files tab, then everybody should have a college budget sheet. If you do not, please contact whoever you're communicating with at Eagle Scholars so that we can make sure and get it added and shared with you, because it's a Google sheet, so it will need to be shared. So when you open it up, make sure and notice all of these tabs at the bottom. Those tabs are important because if you don't know where to click, then you'll miss it. So it should open up to start out with this home tab. And then let's just move through each tab so you know. So the second tab over is called the activities chart. You can either get to it by clicking here and then click right there, or you can just click right down here on the tab. So this activities chart is where you put in any kind of volunteer activities that you've done. This will help you with your resume when you become a senior. So you can do this as early as 9th grade. You can see over here, you just check the box of what grade you're in and how often you do it. Just so you know, when you're a senior and applying to colleges and scholarships, they often ask for how many or what you've done throughout your high school career. And so they want to know not only that you volunteered 1 hour here and 1 hour there, they want you to show leadership. So it's really important. Like this example says reading tutor. If they just did that one time on September 18th for an hour, not a big deal. It doesn't really tell them anything. But if you notice, this one says 9/18 to 6/19. So they did this for almost a year, 1 hour a week for 25 weeks. That's demonstrating consistency, longevity, and potentially even leadership. So in this, you would also write things like if you were an Eagle Scholars ambassador, or if you did some kind of leadership role, even like if you were hired to do the attendance, so you could put down attendance clerk. So all of those are activities that you can add in here. All right, so if you click on the next tab, these are your scholarships. Now, this is not where you're recording your scholarships. This is a tool to help you know which scholarship or what your scholarships need. So for instance, the scholarship one, let's say you're applying for Toyota. So you can put that in at the top, and then you can put the website so you know where to go back to. So it makes it easy to access. You put the application deadline. You put how much. If you know, some of them may not say, but you could say a range like $1,000 to $5,000 because you won't know for sure. These are the places you click for things you are going to need. So do you need a high school transcript with that? Do you need to, is it for college, for a dual credit scholarship? You can click that. Your ACT or SAT, do they need those scores? Do they need a personal statement? So you're going to check whichever ones they need, and that's going to help you know when you go back to it, you can just check off so that when you're applying, you don't forget anything. And again, you just go through each one and title them. We've got a bunch on there. You've got 19 scholarships. Maybe some of you guys will even go more. So we can always add extra on yours, but we'll start with 19. All right, so next tab over is to compare costs. So this is really cool because what this is going to do, now this is only really for when you're at your senior year. So when you're looking at colleges, what you want to look at is tuition, fees, and all of that. But you also want to look at how many grants and scholarships you're going to receive, so that you can kind of figure a total cost. So up here, you're going to put your college name in there. So we're going to say just UTA for an example. I don't know how much. I haven't looked at their website recently, so I'm not sure how much. But let's just say that tuition is $95.20. You know, that's what they estimate. The fees, let's say that the fees are $1,500, and then for housing and meals, also called room and board, let's say that's another $9,000. they're usually going to give you an estimate on the first document they send you. They're going to give you estimates. So they're going to also include books and supplies, and usually they're going to say something like $1,000. They're also going to include transportation, and you may know that you don't need transportation because you don't have a car to take to college or whatever, but they're also going to include that. You don't necessarily, if you don't have a car you're going to take to college, then you can keep that blank. If you do have a car, make sure and add that. And then any other expenses, we're going to leave those two off of here, and I'll explain in a second. So then down here, you're going to write in your scholarships. Now, what I want you to know is in the grants and scholarships, these are going to be the ones from the college. These are not going to be like your Toyota or your any private scholarships that are outside the college. And the reason we don't want to put those is because most of your outside scholarships, unless they're coming from the college, your outside scholarships are going to apply to any college. And so we're just comparing for the costs for each individual school. We can add your other scholarships later. So Pell Grant, FSEOG, Texas Opportunity Grant, Dallas Promise. There may be some other ones, like there may be the President's Scholarship that you get specifically from that school. So you can add in those if the school offers you specific ones. But again, these are not your Toyota. They're not your Women Lead, anything like that. Work study, they will most of you guys, all of you guys will probably get work study. You can put that in there. However, with work study, I want to caution you, do not think of work study as the money that you're going to have to pay off your college, because you won't. Work study is more like pocket change that you're going to use to buy food and stuff. So it's really, we're not going to put that in there just because I don't want you to get to thinking that that's going to help offset your costs. And then loans, we're also not going to put those in right now because our goal is to do this without loans. So now you see what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be. It's $21,000. Now, again, we didn't put in any of the scholarships here, so that's why it looks like so much. This will allow you to compare each college and see which one is going to give you the best bargain. So then over here, make your decision. If you can tell up here, what's going to happen is because you put UTA over there, it pulls it in here. So now you can start looking at UTA as far as location, and you fill in these blanks. And again, this is for your senior year. You fill in these blanks, and what this is going to do is it's going to help you compare. So now you know the costs from back here. And then you might have like one college that's maybe $1,500 more than the other college. So you might want to compare those, and maybe it's worth $1,500 extra to go to a college that has more of the things that you're interested in. So each of those, you'll fill in each of those blanks. It even pulls in your costs, so you can see that on this page and don't have to go back to the other page. It also pulls in the loan repayments if you have that, but like I said, we're going to try to stay away from those. And then graduation rate, and that's important for each college. So I would put that down there. Your average salary after 10 years, if you know what career you're going into, you could try doing that. I wouldn't worry a whole lot about those two. And then finally, the most important part of this sheet is going to be that we're going to use the most is once you get into college. Actually, all of the tabs are important, but for me, since I usually work with you guys after you get into college to make sure you stay in college and get what you need, then this last sheet, the college budget tab, is important. So I like what Miss Stella has put up here. Ball So Hard University. This is us trying to make sure you get through. So each semester that I meet with you, then I will put the college name that you're at, because you might transfer, hopefully not too much, but if you do, that way the college's name is there and then your semester is there. I'll ask you your major each year, how many hours you're taking, how many hours you still need. This will help us to kind of map out how long it's going to take you to get through college, and then your GPA. And the reason this is going to be really important is because scholarships and even federal money require a certain GPA. Most scholarships, you have to have at least a 2.5 or higher. Some of them say 3.0 or higher. There are a few that are 2.0 or higher, but you need to know that. So so that's why we'll check that each time we meet. And then I'll put in the tuition and the fees, just like we did on the other stuff. But the difference in this is this is not, okay, let me click over on this compare costs again. This compare costs is what you get at first, and it's a more general, like we expect the tuition to be $95.20. They usually base that on like 15 hours, different things like that. So when we come over here to this college budget sheet and start entering that for your first semester, this will be the specific. This is after you've gotten your final award letter that tells you or your final bill. I'm sorry, not your award letter, but your final bill, because this will tell you specifically how much you owe. Like in tuition, if you take 12 hours, it might be different than what you would owe if you took 15 hours. The fees, if you take a science class that has labs, might be more than if you have no science classes with labs. So all of this is going to be specific. So we usually meet about the college budget at the end of July or beginning of August, because usually they do not send your final bill out until that time. And we will put all those specific costs and what will happen. This is where we put your Toyota, your women lead, and all of that. So you don't have, when you start getting those in like the fall of your senior year, you can add them here. Don't mess with any of the formulas, just add them right here. And that way, and make sure and name them. So you can just say, you can put over here Toyota, and then you can put it in here. And these are, hang on. Sorry, my mistake. You actually would not, this says grants and scholarships federal. That is not, you're not going to put Toyota there because Toyota is not a federal grant. Federal means it's from the federal government. So that's your Pell Grants, your FSEOG, and your Teach Grants. There might be some others, but we left that blank, but those are federal. These are the Texas state grants. So these are only going to be Texas grants. And then down here, an institutional is going to be from your school specifically. So like President's Scholarship and things like that. And then your private scholarships are going to be like your Toyota and your Women Lead and things. And so we've left a lot of spaces because we know you guys are going to work really hard and get lots of scholarships. If you have any questions on what is a private, institutional, state, or federal, please ask. Don't just put numbers in here because it can mess up your numbers. So we want to make sure that we've got all of that. It'll help us know how much money you're getting and how much money you still need. This one will tell the total down here. These, again, this is your work study if you do end up taking that. But we're not going to factor that into really how much money you need because it's not going to go to pay your college bills probably. And then if you do have to have loans, this will be your place where you'll put those. Hopefully we'll make it to where you do not have to have loans, but we're going to work with you on that. So every semester around July, August, each fall, and then around probably beginning of January each spring, make sure that you set up a meeting with us so that we can get everything put in and we can see how much you need. And that way your VMYDF scholarship that you can receive if you are active in Eagle Scholars your entire 6 years can be applied. So hopefully that explains everything. Please let us know if you have any questions.